always remember watching Jeepers Creepers as a kid, and that Scarecrow guy, I don't even think he was a scarecrow now that I think about it, but I thought he was a scarecrow, and he really creeped me out as a kid. I was like, "Look, I feel like there's something there. There's like not there's a lot of clowns, but there's not enough scarecrow killers out there." And
Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Jeremy Rudd talking about Dice Reloaded, which comes to select theaters on August 8th, 2025, and on demand on August 12th, 2025. It is a throwback slasher that has a really great use of practical effects, an old school feel, and some really fun, like, sounds, both like gory sounds and nostalgic sounds. I really love the kind of like commitment to the practical effects. I love the old school feel to it. So I'm excited to talk to you a little more about this, and thanks so much for joining me.
yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, first question. This is a movie that is kind of like an expansion of a short film that you did, a cult classic short film. What made you want to tell more of Benny's story? What made you want to like expand this universe a little bit?
Yeah, so the expansion version is definitely speaking more on Benny's his background. So I wanted to, because I took feedback from the original one I got, and then a lot of people wanted to learn more about him and him as a, why is he where he is now? So I teamed up with Epic, and we expanded on that to the story. So that's what Dice Reloaded is all about. And then also, aside from that, they remixed, remastered, improved everything. So it's a much better watch from start to finish. They were able to, I mean, I was really, really impressed when I saw the final product.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I loved about this, you see this sometimes with short films, but not always. I love that, like, if you compare the cast of the original film to the, reloaded version or, the expanded version, it's a lot of the same people. So what was it like,
Mhm.
using them? Were they, I assume they were all on board from the start, but was it tough to get them all back together, or was it pretty easy when you're like, hey, we're going to do a longer version? And they're like, yes, yes, let's do it.
No, we only actually used two of the original cast members from for the Reloaded. The rest of them were all new. I think there was a total of four or five people in the new one, maybe more. But those were all local to Seattle, or not Seattle, but LA. But as far as our original crew, is just two people we got back. So we were able to kind of execute that with just two of the original cast members.
Oh, okay. I compared the IMDb's. I think it was like Cassandra and the dad and Benny were all the same. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I
I mean,
was.
everyone's still the same, but as far as the additional 30 minutes we filmed, we just called back Benny and then also one of the nurses.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
I
Hmm.
didn't realize that this was using a lot of the original footage from the original film. That makes sense. That makes it smart. How long did it take you to like expand this, and how did you kind of go about planning the additions to the short film? Like, did it, how much time did you have to film, and what was it like kind of bolt in new areas for the old film?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit back and forth going on with ideas with the Epic team and myself. They got a writer to expand on the beginning backstory of him, and then we were kind of brainstorming ideas on how we wanted to kind of play out, and then we locked in on the storyline for that, and then we started filming. I think we filmed maybe a week long in LA for the additional scenes we filmed, and then we put that on to the original one I filmed. We put it all together, and like I said, everything was all polished, much more polished film from start to finish, and it's a much more enjoyable watch now.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's an amazing like return on your original film, and then also like to be able to add on enough content in a week to make a full feature film. That is an amazing kind of like
Hmm.
ROI. Like
Yeah.
that is an impressive use of your time.
Yeah, because the first one was like 45 minutes. Now it's like an hour and like 21 minutes. So we were able to expand on a lot there, and then also add in some additional things throughout the film as well.
So I'm just curious, like, what was the impetus for the original film? What did you have like a horrible Halloween, or did you just like maybe you just miss old school slashers? Like, what was the reason to make the very first short film?
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of all that. Like, I wrote the film during pandemic, so I had a lot of time. And then I just missed old school horror films. I was like sitting in my house watching a lot of old school horror. I didn't want to really watch any of the new stuff. And I was like, I think I'm gonna write a script here. So I wrote the script, and then it was sitting on my desk for a little while, and I never do anything halfway through. So I was like, I guess I gotta find someone to film this now. So I reached out to a bunch of people in the Seattle area. We got it filmed, and then we had this the 45-minute version. It went pretty kind of viral online, and a lot of people buzzing, talking about the characters in it. And then Epic reached out to me. They wanted to, Patrick from Epic Pictures reached out to me, and he wanted to give it more of more legs as far as, people viewing it. So yeah, we teamed up, and now we have Dice Reloaded.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Like some people made sourdough bread during the pandemic. You made a movie. That's awesome. And curious, where did the scarecrow motif come from? Because it looks like it's just off-putting enough that it's perfect for like a slasher movie. Where did
Mhm.
that like whole feel come from? Are you definitely afraid of the Wizard of Oz or?
Well, no, because I feel like scarecrows were definitely underutilized, and I always remember watching Jeepers Creepers as a kid, and that scarecrow guy, I don't even think he was a scarecrow now that I think about it, but I thought he was a scarecrow, and he really creeped me out as a kid. I was like, "Look, I feel like there's something there. There's a lot of clowns, but there's not enough scarecrow killers out there." And then also, I didn't want him to have a burlap sap on his face, or, I wanted him to have a painted face. And I wanted him, I want the viewers to see his expressions, his smile, his eyes, just to kind of, get that more of a creepy feel when you're watching it. And so that's where I kind of developed a character based on those things.
Yeah, no, definitely. The scene, like you always expect one to jump out at you if it's like hanging out there in the
Hmm.
field. You're like, is it real? Is it not? Is it like a dead body? Like,
Yep.
yeah, there's definitely a mystique about it.
Yeah, so that was another thing. There's a scene in the movie where he lays there on the porch. Nobody really knows if he's real or alive, or fake or alive, but and I want to kind of dive in more of that, of that element in part two potentially, because I feel
Ooh,
like that's a unique trait where he's kind of, you don't know if he's like a stuffing statue, or like those little scarecrows that people hang in their crops to kind of scare off the crows. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot to kind of play off there.
yeah, definitely gonna have some tense moments in the next movie if it comes about. But I know you have limited time, so I'm gonna switch to a lightning round of just lightweight questions about the film. Want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. Feel free to skip
Hmm.
any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First
Okay.
question. This is a Halloween kind of movie. What did you dress up as for Halloween?
Oh, what did I dress up for? Last Halloween, I was a firefighter. And this one, maybe I'll be a scarecrow.
All right, that would be
Maybe I'll
right
do
on
that.
brand. That'd be perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
easy to get that stuff.
Yeah.
This movie also deals with trick-or-treaters. When was the last time that you trick-or-treated?
Oh, trick or treating, man. Maybe middle school,
What? All right.
elementary school.
You
Yeah.
stopped early. There's still many usable years of free candy for you, but you stopped.
Yeah, I stopped early because I don't know. I don't know. Kind of
You're
stopped
too
early.
cool. I got it. You were too cool to get trick-or-treated. This movie has a scene where Cassandra finds a picture of her dad and mom when they were younger. Do you have like an old picture of your parents from like back in their college days or back when they were younger?
I do.
All
Yep,
right.
I do have one.
And who's the creepy guy in there?
Uh, there's no creepy guy in those ones. It was just them
All right.
posted up at like
That's good.
some dance or something, probably.
That's good. Nothing scary about those pictures. That's perfect. And the last question, this movie also has a treasured family heirloom that is central to one of the pieces of the film. Do you have anything like, from your parents, from your grandparents that they have given to you that you treasure, that you keep?
No, not an heirloom, but my family does own a restaurant chain in Seattle. There is 17 of them,
Oh
so
wow.
hopefully they will transfer that to me
Yeah,
at
yeah,
some point.
and maybe a treasured like chef's knife as well when that happens. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
something.
that would be a nice gift from them. But You can keep making movies, and I'm sure that'll support you until this happens in the future. Now I know that you're already talking about maybe a second film. I'm sure you have other things in mind. After people see Dice Reloaded, is there anything that you can talk about that you're working on next? Anything kind of in the future?
Nothing in the future working on. I just want to kind of. I feel like there's a lot more I could do with this film. There's a lot more I want to expand on, and that's primarily my focus right now. And yeah, and I'll go from there.
All right, well, build out the diced expanded universe, I guess. I'm sure there's comic books or other things, or like you said, I'm sure there will be fan films or online chats about what is happening, so we can build that out while we wait for Dice 2. But while you wait for that, make sure to check out Dice Reloaded coming to select theaters on August 8th, 2025, and on demand on August 12th, 2025. This is Jeremy Rudd. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.